Welcome back. This is Jan ten Haagen. We've got the Portfolio Repairman show today. My guest is Robert DiPello, divorce attorney who's been around and doing this quite well for a long, long time. We're talking about divorces and things legal, etc. today. You can see my website is tenhaagen.com, TenHaagen.com. Our office is at 631-425-1966. We have offices in Huntington, Northport, and in New York City. One of the things I wanted to mention before, as we were talking about corporations, at Ten Haagen, we also do seminars for corporations for their employees about 401k plans, preparing for retirement, etc. So if you go to our website, give us a call. We'll be glad to explain what we do, and hopefully we can benefit your people.
Do you actually administer 401k plans or for the companies, or?
Yes, I do.
And
yes.
How long have you been doing that?
Somewhere in the early 80s.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Yeah. And how many employees does a company normally have when you do their 401k plan?
We've started many of them with small companies. I started one with a company that had a lot of day laborer kind of employees, didn't have the wherewithal, so it was the owner, the executives, and then we maybe had 7 or 8 of the employees. So we can do it with small ones. We can also do it with major firms.
When you do these 401k plans, what is the minimum amount of investment that the company and the individuals actually need to make to have these plans?
It's pretty small. I mean, the corporation itself can decide do they want to do it for 1%, 5%, whatever they want to do. They can do a match, which the standard one would be where you put in 3% of your income, the company matches that 100%, and then the next 2% they'll match at 50%. So the company's putting in $5 and you're getting $4 free. It's found money.
Yeah.
If they have a match, don't say no. Take it.
And when the companies are doing this, what is the actual obligation on the company in reference to how these plans are administered?
Well, when you say administered, I'm not sure.
Well, do they have to vest the employees immediately? Do they get vested after a certain period of years?
Yes, yes, all above. They can do it where you're vested right away, or they can do it over a 5-year period. It's up to the company as to what they want to do. And a lot of companies that have a big turnover with employees that come in don't last more than a year, they're going to put at least a 12 or an 18-month period, because it's just a lot less paperwork with worrying about the turnover at the low end.
And what happens to the money that the company puts in for that employee that doesn't make the minimum 10-year period?
There's a schedule, and I'm off the top of my head, I'm not sure what it is, but most of the time, after, say it's a 5-year vesting period, at the end of that 5 years, you get 100% of what you put in and they put in. If it was 4 years and it's a 5-year vesting, you're going to get 80%.
And what happens to the rest of the company's money? Does it stay in the plan, or does it go back to the company?
It goes into the plan.
And then everybody else equally splits it, or?
Well, down the road, it benefits those that stay in the plan longer.
Oh, okay. That's pretty interesting. So why wouldn't a company do a 401k plan?
They don't think they can afford it. I mean, if you're a small company, you can do a simple IRA, a SEP IRA. There are so many variations, and the question is, and that's why we have to sit down and discuss with them what it is they want to accomplish. Do they want to just put money away for the big guys, or do they want it across the board? So we have to do a lot of questioning to find out what is the best plan for what they really want to do.
And if the goal of the company is to put more money away for the executives of the country, what do they normally do?
Well, there are other plans that we can top load, if you will, for the executives, and it's too complicated and too depth to go into right now. But with a half an hour sit down chat, cup of coffee, we can figure out what's the best plan.
It's tremendously interesting. It's a wonder more and more companies aren't doing that, because nobody apparently is even doing their own IRAs. And then when it comes time to retire, they're putting all their money on Social Security, which normally is not going to pay them enough to survive.
And the whole purpose way back when, I believe, for IRAs, for 401ks, was to keep key employees. I mean, I've got a shop, and I've got the top metal worker, whatever it may be. I don't want them to leave because it's hard enough to find a new one. So I'm going to put this plan together to bonus them so that they'll stay with me.
And also, if you put the longer period you put before they're vested, you can make them stay into the company to make sure that they don't lose their investment.
You know, and that's a sticky point as to, are they going to get annoyed at me because they're not going to be able to be vested for 5 years, even though they don't plan to leave, but it can leave a bad taste in the back of the mouth for some people. So you've got to be careful there.
So with these companies, what do you normally recommend? Is there a golden rule that you try to go by in reference to the minimum amount of investment or vesting, or you try to play it by ear depending on the different type of company?
It's totally by ear. You've got to sit down and find out what the company is, what the employee structure is, how old the employees are, what their incomes are, and then you can determine the best plan for them.
Hey, tremendously interesting. So how many people are actually in your office?
There's actually myself and an office manager. I've been looking for a while, and I believe I've got a business successor coming in, hopefully over the next month or two. Not that I'm phasing out, not that I'm stopping. I don't want to. I'm doing this show on a regular basis. I write an article for a local paper with 40,000 subscribers every other week. So I love what I do. I love helping people, but I want to prepare for, if I'm not here, where are my clients going to go? I don't want them to be just scattered to the winds to anybody that'll grab them. I want them to know the person that's there backing me up.
And that they're protected so that their investments continue and they're looked out for properly.
Right. And also, my broker-dealer is Royal Alliance, which is a huge, huge firm. And Pershing, which is our clearing firm, which holds your securities, is the biggest and the best in the world. So you're not just dealing with me in a little shop in Huntington. You've got a lot of backup there.
And that's the key, to have the appropriate mechanisms in place so when you need to conduct a transaction, it's conducted efficiently and properly.
Right.
Very, very interesting.
So why don't we talk some more about, I guess, divorce and, you know, what is the first step that somebody should do? Okay, I can't stand him, I can't stand her, or whatever it is. What do I do just to determine should I not get divorced?
Well, normally it's no longer really an incentive on people's parts not to get divorced for financial reasons. People want to normally make a determination to get a divorce, and they're going to get divorced irrespective of the financial considerations. But we normally try to get them to either go to their financial advisor or take their whole portfolio to a new financial advisor and make sure that everything is reviewed so they know the actual net value of each asset. They know where all the assets are located. We try to get them to do that for the other person in the relationship also, so that they know not only what their portfolio is worth, but what the other person's portfolio is worth. Not only the gross value of the portfolio, but the net value, and what each separate asset is worth, and what actually the cost is of relinquishing or selling whatever the assets are, and what are the abilities to sell it, whether they're liquid assets or non-liquid, whether they're only going to be sold at a certain period of time, whether they're like annuities, whether you could sell them off, whether there's a deep discount if you take them and try to sell them before their maturity dates, and what the ability is to actually sell those assets.
One of the things you just said, and it doesn't have anything necessarily to deal with divorce, is an older person. Maybe they were an executive at a large firm and they had a $10 million life insurance policy on them while they were working. Now the key person insurance isn't necessarily needed, but hopefully it was in that executive's name. And there's a thing called life settlements where it's a $10 million policy. You only need $2 million. You can sell the other $8 million to a buyer, and you get more money depending on how old you are and how sick you are.
Oh, wow.
I hate to say it, but that's the case.
Well, because they're gambling on your life.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, tremendously interesting. That goes back to what we were talking about a little bit before in the show, I think, when we're talking about having an insurable interest in somebody's life and whether they actually give you that insurable interest. Spouses have an insurable interest in each other, and parents have an insurable interest in their children up to a certain age. But if you don't have an insurable interest in somebody, you just can't take out a policy in them. That's gambling on their life. So you may have the policy, but you're not going to be able to collect on it unless that person gave you authorization to collect on their death. And there's a good reason that they gave you that authorization, not like it's some gambling mechanism.
It's interesting, and it's off the topic of divorce right now, but insurance. I was talking to a young man that I've known for a long, long time, married, has a new child, works for the city in law enforcement. His wife's a nurse, but because of the child, she's not working. I said, so what do you have for insurance? He said, I don't have any.
Well, that's crazy.
And I said, drop everything you're doing except your daughter you're holding.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's me or somebody else, go and look into it because you got to protect your family.
Yeah, everybody needs insurance. That's just crazy, but it happens a lot.
Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. Robert, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for allowing me to be on the show. Thank you. This has been a great opportunity.